Something sure looks different in this new version of BTD6. Can you guess what it is? Introducing the Desperado, a new primary monkey added to BTD6. No monkey claims to know the Desperado well, and no rumor matches the accuracy of the iron on that swaggering hip. Attacks in 2-shot bursts. Today we're going to see what all 15 of these upgrades have to offer, and you will be able to play with it yourself as well very soon. This is early access, but apparently the release date was leaked on the Steam page, so if it's accurate, then you know where to mark your calendar for. We're going to check out the new map made for the Desperado as well, Sunset Gulch. It is an advanced difficulty map, and we're going to change the hero to Azili, because I kind of peeked some of the Desperado's upgrades earlier, and, well, you'll see why Azili might be useful, but for the time being, let's start at 000. Actually, before then, how does the balloons of this map go? Okay, I kind of expected it. They would go on the railroad, and they would exit that way. It's kind of awfully sus that there is a road spike over at the end of the rail here. My guess, I haven't played this map yet, is that it's the mob lane. Because of course it is. That's a pretty big range for the Desperado. Let's drop her down and begin the fun. So as the description says, it shoots in a 2-burst shot, which is quite unique, obviously, because every other tower has the same reload time. But this one is not quite the case. I guess you can consider the reload time to just be the time between each double burst, but I mean, it is indeed a first that this tower shoots each shot in a delay rather than like something all at once, like say a buckshot burst. Anyway, let's check Quick Draw here. Quick Draw attacks faster the further balloons are from Desperado, and loses the attack speed when balloons are close. Well, if I had known that, I probably wouldn't have placed Desperado next to here. I feel you could say early game Desperado is kind of like a glorified sniper. Not good against the group stuff, of course, because it has simply 1 pierce, and I don't think you can pierce buff it. At least it doesn't make sense it can pierce buff. Right, well, we'll buy Quick Draw anyway, to get some attack speed while we can. But we're gonna need more upgrades to keep up with the ever-increasingly difficult rounds here. So Standoff attacks faster the fewer balloons are in radius. I think that's basically Desperado's way of saying 1v1 me, bro, to the balloons. Unfortunately, the balloons don't like to 1v1 any of the monkeys here until at least round 40, I think. So Desperado's gonna be in for a tough time. First, let me tell you how to unlock the Desperado. They have said that you need to pop 3.5 million balloons when the update drops to get Desperado, kind of similar to how you would unlock Mermonkey and the other towers. However, you could also speedrun and unlock him immediately with a pack purchase as well as a free avatar and banner. Not to force you if you don't want to get that pack, but that would be the way to go if you can't pop that many balloons. Would also be nice if you dropped the code ISAB in the creator support side of the shop. Wink wink nudge nudge. Very important to note that despite, I would say, Desperado looking pretty weak right now, you have to consider the fact that these 3 upgrades in total only cost under $1,000. Desperado's base cost is heavily cheap as well. So its power definitely makes a lot more sense when you consider that fact. Anyway, probably time to cross path because we're leaking lives here. This is pretty simple. Eagle Eye is just simply camo detection and Wanderer here. Desperado attacks faster, but loses attack speed when more monkeys are placed nearby. Are you sensing a common pattern here? 3 upgrades we've bought so far, and all 3 of them are attack speed upgrades. This guy is going to be shooting like Elite Defender in no time. But look, there's a new icon that shows that you should avoid dropping monkeys around Desperado. Once again, he likes to 1v1. So say if I drop another Desperado in range here, this should go down to 2. Okay, not quite. Is that because it's not actually in radius? Remember, it has to be the tip. Or rather, the middle of the sprite. So here should be closer, yeah. Now it's 2. We obviously want more attack speed, though, so we'll just get rid of these and get another one later. How about another one to showcase on the right side at some point in the future? So to summarize so far, a 201 is at the fastest attack speed when it's just Desperado, it's just 1 balloon, and that balloon is the max radius away from Desperado. We probably won't see that until Sandbox. Anyway, Nomad here, tier 2 bond path, attacks faster. Wow. 4 out of 4, the more balloons there are in range. And then when lives are lost, it gets temporary range attack speed increase and cash as well. Let's get it. So that's kind of the opposite of that top path upgrade we bought. Yeah, you see Standoff, faster the fewer there are in radius, then the faster the more there are, so I guess that evens out. Also, holy crap, we are getting cooked here. Oh, we also lost lives. Here's the temporary range increase that you see. And the attack speed. That is a lot faster. I don't have the numbers in front of me, of course, but... Oh, it's gone now. Sad. I wonder if you can activate it more times, or no. Nope. Either there's a cooldown, or it's only a one-time use. I can tell you, the solo Desperado test is definitely not going to turn out very well, because the amount of pierce this thing has is cheeks. Let's buy an upgrade then to help that. Big Iron upgrades the pistol to a 6-shot revolver. Awesome. This, in a way, is kind of like going from 2 to 6 pierce, eh? Let's check it out now. Oh, and not just 6-shot bursts, but also, I believe, 2 damage each. Otherwise, those black ones would be turning to pinks, yellow, green, etc. But instead, we see 2 layers at a time. That's a pretty darn big upgrade then, isn't it? Not just 3 times damage, but basically 6, in the sense of doing 2 damage every time to 12 at most. Hopefully this isn't one of those situations again where, like the Mermonkey, the tier 3s are so much better than tier 2s that you basically have no use for the base cross paths until saving up to it being expensive. Also, lead popping does not exist. Thankfully, we got a Zeal on this side, and I kind of want to test. It says when monkeys are placed nearby. Do farms count as monkeys? I would think so, because it currently lost 2 attack speed stacks. Let me just test by selling the free dart monkey. The farm does count as a monkey. And now as a preview for the tier 4 top path, Twin 6s is very simple. Just gains the twin higher damage revolvers. Not that there's anything wrong about quote-unquote basic upgrades. In fact, I think Ninja Kiwi, I haven't saw all 15 paths, of course, or upgrades, but I think that would be the goal, wouldn't it? To try to make the monkey upgrades or any new monkey they add to be basic enough so where it's not overly complicated to understand, but at the same time, adding enough unique mechanics to the mix so it doesn't feel like we're doing the same thing. And there's the attack speed. Let's get Twin 6s before we die this round. Come on, Spike. Hold. Didn't hold, but we're still keeping alive at 8. We'll take that. And now that is a lot of layers per shot. 5 exactly, which kind of made sense why we couldn't really deal with those pinks even after buying Twin 6s. It's still a abuse issue, but boy, does it pack a lot of damage. Also, I totally did not die between now and then. We have a lot of money now to defend this Moab. I'm gonna assume it's coming this way. Yup. Most predictable change ever. We'll get outbuff in it, and looks like that's good enough to beat everything but the insides. Well, here's where I think we can introduce another upgrade to the mix. Let's check out the Bond Path Tier 3. The Enforcer uses a shotgun that knocks back balloons when they get within close range. Perfect for the Rams, I think, right? And just like that, we've upgraded our revolver to a shotgun. Let's just cross path middle to see what it does, even though I think top path we need more. Bullseye middle path tier 2 here gets a crit chance, which goes up when the target balloon is further away. Gotcha. Well, let's see if I need more here. Actually, let's lose lives, remember? Azili? Lose lives, gain attack speed bonus, and shotgun? Let's go. We defended the thing, and interesting. It looks like this upgrade has 2 different ranges, and as well 2 different icons. Corporate would like you to ask you the difference between the Enforcer and the Buckshot Sniper. So like, yeah, each icon basically tells us how many monkeys are within a range of each shot here. So the revolver has a Zealy, so 2 stacks, nothing around the shotgun, so 3. Therefore, easier to get max attack speed. Now, I should mention at this point that in terms of how Desperado uses its shots, let's also just get a spike balls back here. Don't want to take any chances against the Moab. Yep, we definitely would have leaked there if I didn't buy anything. But this is from their Steam page, and where they detailed everything that Desperado has to do. It doesn't use all of its shots at once. Instead, it alternates its weapons with three weapons that it has. So as he swaps between weapons as he progresses upgrades, he prioritizes the shorter range one first as they get in range. So that is why you see, if you look very closely here, he'll stop using the revolver like completely. When balloons are always in range of the shotgun, he will only use shotgun and the shotgun only. And that shotgun also is a burst of 2. Let's get an outbuff on it, because I can only assume this tower does pretty well with it. And while we're at it, here's Avenger. Shotgun releases shrapnel and even knocks back Moabs. When lives are lost, weaker balloons only take 1 life each for a short time. That's a really strange mechanic. Okay, enough talking. I have to buy this before I die. Because we're definitely going to leak. Because my spikes are not spiking very well. So yes, you're getting that right. Based on the description of the upgrade, it's buckshot shot now releases buckshots inside of each buckshot. At least that's what seems to be the case. Take a look. Hard to see, but you see there's a different type of secondary attack. Kinda silver/gray in nature that comes out. And there's a stun as you see there, or the brief stun you see in the Moabs. I kind of want to test how the life leaking mechanic works, but that's very hard to do without being in real danger, I guess, of dying. I'm not sure, but I guess, I mean, it says here that you will be less in danger of dying because everything else after the first leak will cost you only 1 life. So leak of Ceram, I don't know what's counter is weaker, but whatever the case, instead of leaking 47 lines for Rainbow, it's going to be 1. I guess you could say we have Legend of the Night at home. Let's see, we're bound to leak something here, right? Or holy crap. Did you see that one shot? Destroyed the shrapnel there. So much shrapnel, destroyed all 4 mobs in one go. Now that's nasty. Although, maybe you should expect nasty for the $14,000 that we spent on this guy, right? It'd be nice if we can test dying. Come on. Nope. 63 can be defended. But I kind of want to see it not defend. Alright guys, the 1 tower Desperado challenge has been saved because we have Pierce. We have the Pierce path, and yeah, forget seeing what happens if we leak. Let's check out the middle path now. I'm gonna put it over here. I don't think it's going to get the stack from bottom cross path, but who's to say I'm gonna cross path bottom. Let's do top instead. This is good, because this spot's pretty far away from the closest a balloon can be, so it will gain a good amount of taxi from the upgrade. But now, Deadeye. Middle path tier 3 is the most descriptive we've seen by far. In a first, it gains an ability instead of starting at tier 4. Take Aim gives a target monkey extra range, accuracy, and cam protection. Desperado himself gains a long-range rifle to use against distant targets, and the rifle excels against fortifieds and pop slides. Let's get it. And as you see, that is a big icon. What is the second icon? Because it's not a shotgun. Is it the original attack that he got? Yeah, it is. You see that he swapped to his double shot. So that's when he uses the close range one. Otherwise, most of the time, he will do a shot that does 35 mob damage if I'm looking at it correctly. It seems to change, actually. In fact, I think it has more than 1 pierce. It's not just like a sniper. Because you see, there's a very light effect every time it shoots the rifle shot. Like a small gust of wind, which I can only assume means it can work on multiple targets at once. Anyway, let's check how to use Take Aim. We can use it on himself to gain that bonus. I can already start to envision how many things you can do with Deadeye, because it can work on any monkey, right? Let's check on the Dartling gun. I think it makes sense to use it on this one, because it'll gain accuracy. I don't know about you, but it seems like it's still shooting inaccurate, so am I misreading something? Also, it activated, finally. Let's go. We got the Avenger, and I think it saved us there. There was no way all those wounds that leaked only would have cost us, like, 30 lives, so thank you. I can't recall off the top of my head if there's other towers that shoot it not accurately, but I'm kind of not sure why it's not really working on the Dartling gun, because it should be gaining increased accuracy. Maybe it is, and it's just very minor. IDK. 120 upgrade seems to work exactly like a 120. See, it times out, and it looks like it's the same accuracy. We'll figure that out at some other point. But let's finish off with the access to tier 4. Bounty Hunter looks like another money-making upgrade. We've got more text. Mark to Pop ability. Pauses attacking to mark balloons and then proceeds to attack all of the marked balloons at once. Mark balloon priority is shared with other X2X Desperados, and mark balloons take more damage and give more cash. That is a lot of seemingly cool mechanics tied into one. Also, I just remembered Buckshot, duh. I assume increases the accuracy or the spread of that. So we'll use the ability on that guy. We'll buy Bounty Hunter now, and we'll wait for the ability. I like to try to think about, like, how do I compare this to other upgrades existing in the game, like this ability? I kind of like to think of it as part, I guess, embrittlement, because, as it said, whoa, those are all the mark balloons, by the way, and we survived, thanks to the life leaking of that thing. We'll use a totem here because I'm not sure if we can survive. And now we're down to 1 life. That was not intentional. But, well, now we can't use Azili or use this ability. Until that is, of course, a buy central market, and now all our problems are solved. Okay, back to Bounty Hunter. Not sure how much extra cash we got there, but let's use this again. I don't quite see the marked animation on the mob, so either I'm not sure they apply on it, or it just simply doesn't show. There is sometimes where, like, there won't be a visual on a mob, but there is on a balloon. Simply put, we're also dead here again. Whoops. Okay, let's buy 420 outbuff on this guy. Let's set it on first as well. Let's mark the balloons. I don't know if it's better to mark them to get damage later, or just have that guy do damage now. Holy moly, that's 65 lives lost. That, again, surely we would have lost if we didn't have Avenger. Chim's only player's gotta be real sad about the bottom path Desperado, I gotta say. What is the Zeely totem to make damn sure we don't die there? And I think it's probably time. We've got all tier 4 Desperados. We are kind of barely clinging on to dear life, let me just say. So it's time to bring on some tier 5s. This is a very, very, very cheap one. Only 18.9k for the Blazing Sun. They say Desperado shoots so fast that them revolvers catch a light. Yes, there is the classic Ninja QE description. I was kind of surprised there. I didn't see any until now. But I think they kind of do that for tier 5s more than anything else, to kind of make them seem spooky and ominous. In a way, up to you to figure out what the ultimate tier 5 upgrade has to offer, rather than telling you every stat that it gives. So, bring it on. What are we seeing? Well, it seems like the top path again is the most basic of them all. Right now, all I see is damage. And the damage actually isn't that great single target. Only about, I don't know, enough to pop an FBFB, but we hope that most 25k towers can pop an FBFB. Can you do it on a ZMG is the question. It's actually better than I should give it credit for, honestly. Yep, beats the ZMG down completely. Now we just need this guy to clutch up. We'll mark the balloons here. Don't forget about the cash given. That is probably a good idea to use it more often. Even though I have a lot of money as is, but nice. I'm looking very closely here, and it really does seem like this thing is only targeting one balloon at a time. So, it's closest comparable, I gotta say, is Elite Defender right. This thing shoots really fast, it gets extra damage as well. It just is lacking the, well, attack speed bonus. Actually, no, it counts for the first couple crosspads, so yeah, just a reskinned Elite Defender. But don't worry, I think these other two are going to be a lot more interesting. So the Phantom Desert here is the next cheapest one. For 33.48, they say Desperado hits so hard, it's like a Mind Blast. Okay, well, there's a line of Moabs. Let's get it. And I'm waiting for the Mind Blast. But I just see a lot of Shrapnel, and that's all. Actually, hold on. I see it actually shooting Flame. Do you notice that? On its shotgun attack. So maybe we're gonna see something crazy. The more balloons there end up being. Yeah, it's putting them on fire. It's definitely from the Desperado. Yep, and there come the explosions, as was talked about. I guess that's what you would call the Mind Blast. Oh, that was clean. I don't know what we need to activate that again, but that was like a nice line of explosions. Kind of like that. Maybe we would just get more than 4 mobs at a time, then we can see an even longer line, like that. Ninja QB sure knows how to make a satisfying tower, right? I'm liking the bottom path more than the top path for that very reason right now. Even some good knockback on TTs too, man, that's really noticeable. Group damage, knockback, and lots of shrapnel. What can this thing not do? Well, first things first, ZMGs are in the house, but my god. It seems like this thing does better the more balloons there are in radius. Can I also say that isn't it crazy that Ninja QE planned to do more than just the tower originally for this Desperado's release? Apparently, they were supposed to come up with a new Legends. Also, forgive me, I keep getting distracted. Let's try this again, shall we? Maybe this time with a Homeland Defense for double the damage. But as I was saying, Legends is basically Ninja QE's planned DLC releases, of which they plan to do 2 this year, Rogue Legends and whatever Desperado thing they had cooked up. But clearly, that would have been the biggest update of all time. Let me just say. And let me also just say that, oh my god, we are not going to survive even with the Homeland Defense. More about Legends later, but okay, let's just get Golden Justice then. They say Desperado's long arm can hit clean through an army of balloons. They sure say a lot. So much so that we're not sure what exactly they do. because they say too much. But we'll let the animations speak for themselves. That is interesting. Kind of like a railgun attack. Now, there's also a reticle here. I forget, was this gained with the tier 4 or the tier 5? Either way, I don't know. Can it help us beat this round? I'm watching carefully. And the answer is no. Oh, no, I lied. I used the ability. I'm just gonna go until I die, by the way. Yep, couldn't do it even with the tier 5. Again, maybe this map is too hard. That could be a thing too. Or maybe what these dudes need is a mid, but rather camo protection. Camo protection. This one didn't have natural camo. It also, I don't think, was hitting lead because I heard a lot of clanking noises. But anyway, surely it's good now. That burst of damage you saw earlier was because I marked all the balloons, so I can only assume that the mark is a huge amount of extra damage. So we'll try again. See? There comes the giant burst after a quick mark. And finally, after buying 5 billion towers, we did it. We beat the DED round. This ain't satisfying enough, though. The fact that we gain this new tier 5 attack, but we're not shooting a straight line, definitely mildly infuriates me. So we're gonna chinook that somewhere else, I guess. As I was saying earlier about Legends, though, apparently the one made for the Desperado is going to be moved back until later this year. Probably the end of this year, if not even next year. So I'll have to wait a while for that. Also for 98, we should be using the temporary upgrade. That's such a large amount of range that it gets an even straighter line now. And is that not satisfying or what? It actually didn't even do that much damage. So the death there again was not satisfying. I really think it's a map that's making it look like we're so cooked against this, but promise you, Desperado isn't this underpowered, right? Let's see how it does against the bat here. Each shot is 200 damage. That's not gonna cut it, man. That's not gonna cut it. We're gonna have to use this ability, and this ability to pop this and not die to the insides, right? We've got knockback on our Desperado here. Come on. You can do it. Nice. They did it, but with a great amount of difficulty, unfortunately. We're gonna keep going, of course, though. But as I was saying earlier, I like Legends. Or rather, the only one they have right now, Rogue Legends. I just want to bring more attention / light to it, because I think a lot of people might have gotten turned off by maybe when it initially came out, thinking that it was in a bad spot, which, I mean, undoubtedly, it probably was released undercooked, but I should remind you that Ninja Kiwi has made several updates to Legends. And how did I die with the super glue? I guess it's because we got a Pierce issue. Permabrew then, frick it. But in case you missed it, Legends is a lot better now. They added a lot of quality of life as well as a lot of new features, so I would highly recommend you give it a chance now. Not just, like, buying it, even just watching it. I don't mean to be like Obama giving out Obama medal here, but I think it's one of my, or some of the best content I've been making recently. And I'm having a lot of fun doing so. So, just letting you know. And okay, I think I figured out the reticle on the Desperado. So when you buy other Desperados, they will also gain this mark target. I think this is just to prioritize the, well, mark targets for the tier 4. This will make it so that it will attack said balloon, I think, right? And now I can circle back to what I said earlier before I saw all 15 upgrades, and I can definitely say that Ninja Kiwi sure knows how to make things simple enough without making them too complicated, and also unique. The mechanics unique. Because sure, I can say this thing is comparable to an Elite Defender, but with all the other upgrades, I can't really say. There's a lot of cool stuff to them. Also, I'm gonna call it right now, this is the most broken synergy you can ever do. We are going to give the Take Aim ability to a farm, so that the farm gains cam protection. That's gonna help us pick up those camo bananas, you know what I mean? Don't forget too, you can use the increased range ability on villages, so I think the Monkeyopolis is salivating at the idea of that right now. And now as we approach the triple bad round, let's see what we can pull off. Let's use, first off, the range giving ability on this guy, so it has a longer time to attack. But I think it's gonna be all for naught. Pop count also, only 500,000, and these guys are at 3 and 4 respectively, so even considering the cost difference, it's kind of crazy just how much worse that is, but you gotta consider these things have Pierce, like, can hit group balloons. The other one can only really hit one at a time. So, not quite accurate in that case. Either way, that concludes the new map portion. Couple things I'm going to briefly test here. First off, how much extra damage do Mark Balloons take? That I'm curious to know. Use the ability, drop a sniper, and it's still 2 damage per shot. Or does it mean that Mark Balloons only take extra damage from Desperados and not other monkeys? If that's the case, then okay, that changes a lot of things. That makes it, well, worse. But let's check here. 2-2. And yep, it's +1 damage. +1 damage. It also didn't say in the description, or rather I interpreted the ability as it only mark when you get the ability, but that's not the case. It already marks balloons normally, but I think the ability just does it at a faster rate. For example, I'm gonna use this now, and yep, that's a lot of marked things at once, and then it just does a burst. Gotcha. So you're still gonna make money, and also mark balloons while you're there. Good to know. Everyone's curious to know how much extra money. A rainbow gives 47 bucks. What if we mark it? Oh, we killed it too quickly. Never mind. Okay, a fortified ceram on round 81 makes 19 bucks. Now we're gonna get rid of it, and this should definitely not one-shot it. Definitely not. Yep. Okay, that was 38 bucks. So it's twice the amount of money, in case you're wondering. Alright, how about the Nomad here? This thing gains cash when lives are lost, but the question is, how much cash exactly? Let's leak a balloon here. And we go from 0 to 190. So I guess that's not bad. You basically make the money back that you spent on the Nomad here. And remember, we activate it multiple times, so that means you can, well, make back your money and then some. Probably not very reliable though, and definitely not in Chimps mode. Top Path Desperado's exact damage is 15 every single shot, which there are a lot of them. And just to confirm our tests, yeah, it'll only damage the first one fully before working on the next one. We've got Sniper at home. Well, if there's more things that you saw in this footage that maybe I didn't notice or didn't cover, then do let me know. And I'll leave you off with the satisfaction of the bottom path. All I know is that this thing is pretty rad.